Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Haribol Nitai Gaur.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Haribol, everybody sing.
Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Haribol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol.
Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol Nitai Gaur. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hari Bol, Jai Gurudev, Jai Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Svarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Svarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Sorry, Bol Namaste. So today we will read the appearance of Lord Brahma and his goal, how he served the Supreme Person, who is Lord Brahma, and how he succeeded in pleasing the Supreme Person. So, si Lord Brahma, siya yung first born living sa universe. Based upon the teachings of Lord Vyasadeva. And I'll read these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam to give us clarity what process he engaged himself, what he did, and how he was instructed, and how he followed that instruction. And that instruction is the instruction of the Supreme Person. So si Lord Brahma, when he was born in this universe, he's the engineer of what you see here. He's the creator. Everything that you see here is created by Lord Brahma. So in the beginning, he's not able to perform his duty. So I'll read this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam to give us this narrative about the teachings of our instructing spiritual master coming from Lord Brahma himself. Okay. Because these teachings from Srimad Bhagavatam was passed on by Sukadev Goswami to Maharaj Pariksit. Maharaj Pariksit has 7 days to live, and Sukadev Goswami is the disciple of Narada Muni. And Narada Muni is the son of Lord Brahma. Okay. So it's a disciplic succession coming down. O King, the personality of Godhead, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma. And that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul. Okay. So si Lord Brahma, he sat down in meditation. He engaged in austerities. And through his austerities, the Supreme Person is so pleased that he revealed himself to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in universe, could not trace the source of his lotus seed. And while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find out the process for such creation. So in the beginning, he is at the loss what to do. Okay? While thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahma Ji heard twice from a nearby two syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th and the other from the 21st of Sparsa alphabet, and both joined to become the wealth of the renounced order of life. When he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching on all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to sit down on his lotus seat firmly and gives his attention to the execution of penance, and he was instructed. So Lord Brahma, he engaged in penance, sacrifice, austerities. He meditated and sat down. Okay? Yun yung ginawa niya. Lord Brahma underwent penances for 1,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. He heard the transcendental vibration from the sky, and he accepted it as divine. Thus he controlled his mind and senses, and the penances he executed were a great lesson for the living entities. Thus he is known as the greatest of all the ascetics. So siya yung nag-undergo ng austerities to please the Supreme Person. The personality of Godhead, being thus very much satisfied with the penance of Lord Brahma, was pleased to manifest his personal abode, Vaikuntha, the supreme planet above all others. This transcendental abode of the Lord is adored by all self-realized persons, freed from all kinds of miseries, fear, and illusory existence. So Lord Brahma is a transcendental personality. He's above the mode of ignorance, okay? In the personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence in goodness. There is no predominance of the influence of time. So what to speak of the illusory energy? External energy, it cannot undergo that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demon worship the Lord as devotees. Okay. So, yung process na pina-follow natin, yung foundation natin is based upon scriptures. Scriptures means the word of the saintly person. Okay. And the process is the unbroken chain of spiritual master. Through oral reception, the spiritual master listens to the Supreme Person. And in the case of Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person revealed himself and communicated to Lord Brahma through the heart. Okay? Through him. And Lord Krishna manifested and showed him the spiritual world. So, Lord Brahma purpose is to assist us, the conditioned living entities in this material world. So during that time, the sacrifice that he did, the penance is meditation, the austerities, to focus his life, his heart in doing the will of God. So the Supreme Person revealed himself. So ngayon, this age of Kali Yuga, what Lord Brahma realized, experienced, and what was revealed to him, he passed it on to his loving disciples. Okay? He passed it on as it is. And now, this is parampara or the unbroken chain of spiritual master. So the science, yung science means the process, the wisdom we are hearing, remembering, focusing on is about what Lord Brahma did to please the Supreme Person. Yun ang ginawa niya. So sa Kali Yuga, si Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya. And the sacrifice in Kali Yuga is the Sankirtan movement, the chanting of the holy names of God. So Lord Krishna revealed himself and showed him the transcendental world through the heart of Lord Brahma, okay? Because of his purity. So now, tayo na nandito ngayon, yung purpose ng spiritual master is to bring us back to the spiritual world. So the holy names of God descends, coming down. He comes down. Ang tawag doon, God, the Supreme Person, incarnates as the holy names. He comes down through the lips uttered by the representative of Lord Brahma. So yung process na fina-follow natin ay based upon the desire of the Supreme Person. So Lord Brahma pleased the Supreme Person, and the Supreme Person is so much pleased that he revealed himself out of his love and compassion to his son, Lord Brahma. So now, Lord Brahma passed on this wisdom to us through the unbroken chain of spiritual master. Because he loves us. He is always thinking of our welfare. So what separates us from this world of a transcendental relationship wherein we can be very pleasing to the Supreme Person? It is the realization, understanding of our true identity. That we are eternally the loving servant of the Supreme Person, and what separates us is we are in a situation wherein our life is just centered upon ourselves. Just us, what we want. Okay? So Lord Brahma, when he was born, is the first son was born through the navel of Lord Vishnu. When he sat down in meditation, his focus is simply following the instruction of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna is very pleased. So the whole purpose of what we should be engaging in, yung ginagawa natin, yung lahat ng ginagawa ng living entity dito sa material world, it is about what is inseparable from them. Hindi nyo mahihiwalay yung ginagawa ng lahat. Kaya lang, dahil different degrees ng spiritual maturity, different degrees ng influence ng modes of passion, at different degrees ng situation natin wherein our heart is not really focused and directed, our whole being, in harmony with what is pleasing to God. So Lord Krishna descends as the holy names pass on by the unbroken chain of spiritual master. It is based upon their love for us. So when we speak of religion, it is not joining, it is not a group, it is not just being part of an organization. When we speak of religion, we are discussing something that is inseparable from us. Inseparable from us. Ano ibig sabihin nun? when you speak of the living entity, it's like when you say water, it is wet. Wetness is inseparable from water. Pag sinabi yung tubig, basa. Pag sinabi mong apoy, mainit. Inseparable yung heat sa fire. Okay? So the living entity tayo, by nature, isang quality na living entity, active siya by nature. At every one of us, we have this natural tendency to serve. Kaya lang dito sa stage ni Lord Brahma, ang service ay pure and transcendental because it is in harmony with the will of God, not touched by the three modes of material nature. And you can see the influence of the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. In goodness, it's about calmness, serenity. But in passion, it's about this desire, the impulse to carry on the dictates of the mind, the desire through the senses, sensual enjoyment. And the influence of ignorance is about forgetting everything. And it's about sleeping and going to unconsciousness. So yung process ng spiritual practice na ginagawa natin is to be very conscious. And that consciousness that we are trying to hard is guided by a process that will help us succeed. It is about meditation upon the holy names of God. So Lord Brahma, our dear Father, our spiritual master, he succeeded by undergoing austerities. He followed yung process. So sa Kali Yuga, sa age ng quarrel and confusion, lahat tayo nakapokus dito sa material world. Lahat tayo nakapokus para maging stable tayo rito sa mundo na to. Pero dahil nabigyan tayo ng kaalaman na lahat ng bagay dito ay nag-undergo ng changes. Ang description, katunayan, kaya nung si Lord Brahma, pinanganak siya dito sa universe, sa beginning, wala siyang kaalaman. Ang difference sa atin ay pagdating natin dito, akala natin nakakakita tayo, matalino tayo. Pero kung titignan nyo maigi, lahat tayo bulag. Nakakita na kayo ng nyog? Kita na kayo ng nyog? Hindi ba may balat yung nyog? Okay? Tapos may has. Tapos may shell. May laman. May tubig. Okay? Madilim. Yung akala natin na liwanag na nakikita natin, liwanag lang yan na konektado sa pagtingin natin sa mata natin. Okay? So si Lord Brahma, nung tumingin siya sa paligid niya, narinig niya yung instruction ni Lord Krishna. Engage in austerities. Yun yung process na ginawa niya. Okay? At binigyan siya ng wisdom. So sa Bhagavad Gita, kasi si Lord Krishna, He appears personally in different ages. Ano yung mga ages na yun? Golden Age, Silver Age, Copper, Iron. Ngayon, Iron. Sa Iron Age, sa Kali Yuga, may mga symptom. Kasi during that time, sa Golden Age, yung even a certain time up to sa stage ng Battle of Kurukshetra, it's a common cultural knowledge. They know they're not the body. Alam nila yun. And it's a common cultural knowledge that pag dumating na sila sa certain time sa buhay nila sa katawan, yung natural, old age na yung body, they leave their home and go to a place where the saintly persons are. But yung situation natin, hindi man ganun. Hindi ganun. Wala ka nang pwedeng puntahan ngayon na ganun. At nandito tayo sa Philippines. Okay? Kung titignan mo, impractical. Saka hindi ka rin pwedeng magpunta lang sa bundok para mag-meditate. Maraming mga individuals na nandun na iba-iba yung agenda. Okay? Nandun na mga rebelde, nandun yung mga taong hindi gagawa ng mabuti para sa kapakanan natin. Okay? Saka halos wala na rin jungle eh. Okay? Wala na. At pag napunta ka doon, yung environment, hindi kagaya nung ginawa ng mga, nalagay yung mga devotees sa isang holy place. Hindi ganun. So ngayon, sa Kali Yuga, si Lord Krishna comes as the holy names. Kung si Lord Brahma was instructed within his heart, because God has inconceivable potencies. Alam niyo, inconceivable, meaning na inconceivable beyond your comprehension. Kasi if you can conceive it, then you must be more powerful than God. Kaya ang situation natin, limited tayo. In quality, we are living life. We have the same qualities as the Supreme Person. Okay? What ability the Supreme Person has, we have that. In a limited scale. Okay? We are not self-sufficient. We are not all-powerful. We are completely dependent upon the protection of God. So when you come to this material world, when you're separated from this protection, meaning separated ka sa will ng Supreme Person, you are driven by a force that drives you. By a force that drives you. It is a search for happiness. But in ignorance, the search for happiness is about material stability. Gusto nyo magkaroon kayo ng magandang pundasyon, stability, economic development. Okay? Walang masama doon. But it must be based upon side by side with wisdom. Kasi may katawan ka eh. You have to take care of the body. Kaya lang, ang naging situation natin, we put so much emphasis to protect ourselves. But what we call ourselves is just the body. Okay? Kaya ganun ang conditioning bago kayo pumunta rito. It's all about your body, yourself. You're thinking you're the body. And even your parents relate to you as my son, okay? My junior, okay? Okay, my niña, my niño, okay? It's all about a relationship based upon bodily identification. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's still lacking. There must be the foundation, the substance of spiritual understanding. So you can relate to a person who plays as the role of your son or your daughter. And you must be understanding what should be beneficial sa kanya. Ano yung beneficial sa kanya? Ano yung kakabuti niya? So alam nyo, I'll tell you a story, okay? It's about my god brother. Actually, I have a god brother. Kasama kami, bata pa kami. She's only, 8 years old siya, okay? I was with him sa training program, sa seminary ng spiritual master, okay? I was with him, okay? He's a fan of reading scripture. Okay? We were all with the devotees there. So, time came that after hearing from our spiritual master, we separated, okay? Kasi he has a life to live, I have a life to live. I have instruction to do, he has instruction of what he should be doing. Kaya lang, lumaki siya na may kasama rin siya mga kapatid niya who are also chanting. Okay? They're chanting the holy names of God. They're also making effort to be pleasing to God. Okay? Kaya lang, yung papa nila, iba yung kinagisnan ng papa nila. Okay? Kasi yung papa niya, iba yung association eh. Papa niya kasi diplomat ba? Ambassador ng Panama. Okay? Kung saan yung mga dictator nakatira. Okay? So yung association niya, more on mga politician, mga powerful people. But yung bahay nila, kung saan siya nakatira, nandun si Japadas, nandun yung mga kapatid niya who chants the holy names. Okay? So dumating ang panahon na naghiwalay kami ng brother ko. Then one day, nag-meet na naman kami. So, our spiritual master is coming back. Okay? He's visiting us again. Okay? So, when we went to Manila together, I was with him, Srila Prabhupada is very happy to see him. Okay? He embraced him and he's very happy because it's like you come in the spiritual master is like your father. Okay? He wishes you well. He's so happy to see us. Okay? And I was talking to him, sabi ko, it's so hard outside. Okay? Sabi niya, he knows it's very hard to go out and pass on yung teachings. Okay? Pero that is a commitment Japadas accepted. Yun yung life niya. Okay? To be passing on yung teaching ng para-para. Okay? So, during the time na yung papa niya, years ba? Papa niya nandun, may bakery nga sila sa Makati. Mga brahmachari kami noon kagaya nyo. So, ang ginagawa lang namin, every day, we go to the temple, we pick flowers, make garland, cook for Lord Krishna, and chant every day. Yun lang ginagawa namin during the time. It years and years and years. And then, every afternoon, pupunta kami dun sa Ile-de-France kasi bakery yun ng papa nila. Doon sila nagtatagpo lahat. So pupunta ako doon, kasama ko si Japadas, kumuha kami ng yung French bread. Okay? So bibili kami ng butter, kain kami ng Japadas. But there was a time na naghiwalay kami. So during that time, yung papa niya nagkasakit. Okay? Nagkasakit yung papa niya. At pag-opera sa papa niya, akala nila appendectomy lang. Yung appendicitis ba? Pag cancerous pala, may cancer siya of the colon. So na-infect yung nag-metastasize. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung una, yung under remission lang. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa nag-grow hindi pa kumakalat yung cancer virus. Hindi pa naapektuhan yung mga cell kasi yung virus confuse niya yung cell para mag-produce din ng cancer cell. Ngayon, nag-metastasize niya, kumalat na sa intestine siya. So, ibig sabihin nun, he's in a situation wherein he will die. Okay? To be very direct. Alam nyo, nasa hospital siya. Sa beginning, nung nasa hospital siya, sobrang takot niya. Kasi napipil niya, nakakakita siya ng mga living entity sa paligid na naghihintay sa kanya. Panic siya. May fear siya ba? Okay? So, sinabi niya yung kay Japadas. Ginawa ni Japadas, naglagay siya ng picture ni Lord Krishna at nag-chant siya ron. Nawala yun. Alam mo, sabi ng papa niya, tawag sa kanya, Joey, can you please teach me the song na lagi niyong kinakanta? Okay? Yung papa niya, although very powerful, alam niya, he's leaving the body. At ang nakakonect sa kanya, yung sound, yung transcendental sound ng Mahamantra, non-different from God. And it touches his heart. So yun yung point ko. Yung parampara, coming down, yung holy names, it is God Himself touching you. Okay? He's communicating to you. Lumalapit siya sa iyo ba? Okay. Kaya pag nag-chant ka ng holy names of God, you become purified from material desires. You become purified from all your sinful activities. And then, yung longing mo na dati, a search for just wanton living, wala kang direksyon, now you're guided by something that is not something. A force, living force that is inseparable from you, activities. And it's about what is inseparable from you, yung pag-ibig mo. So at the time, na nandun siya, naririnig niya, nag-chant parati yung anak niya, it touches his heart. Okay? At the time, aalis na siya ni Chalila. At the time, aalis na siya, hindi pa siya umaalis Sabi niya sa anak niya, Joey, can you teach me the song that you've been singing? So tinuruan niya yung papa niya ng mantra meditation. Okay? So ang nangyari, yung transcendental sound, the holy names of God, God Himself coming to this world, which He heard from His spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Okay? who is the representative of Lord Brahma, okay, who is non-different from all the saintly person. That is the potency of the devotee of God. Because the devotee of God is someone who is 100% in connection, in harmony with that relationship with the Supreme Person, the pleasure of God. And the purpose of Lord Brahma being instructed is to bring back all the conditioned soul back to the spiritual world. Yun ang duty ng spiritual master. It's not a duty, it is his goal to please God. Okay. So ngayon, nabigyan kayo ng pagkakataon kung ano yung narinig ni Lord Brahma, ano yung narinig ni Maharaj Pariksit, nandyan, the holy names of God. Kaya ko kunento to yung life ng God brother ko, kasi yung father niya, who seemingly from the outside, talagang yung ginagawa niya, it's not really wholesome. He's vicious, he's vicious, okay? And this person, at the time he's leaving the body, he received what Lord Brahma received, God's revelation. So the holy names of God is God's revelation, God approaching us, embracing us. So ang gagawin lang natin is to receive in humbleness God. And in this case, because the holy names of God that my God brother we have heard is coming from the heart, the lips of someone who is a pure loving servant of God. And he passed it on to his father. It touched the heart of his father. Na-connect siya sa connection na na-connect si Lord Brahma. Okay? Is it clear sa inyo? Kaya lang, sa situation niya, he's very fortunate to have a son. Okay? Masyado siyang maswerte dahil meron siyang anak at mga anak na who are engaged in the glorification of God, which is the process, the prime sacrifice that will connect us with the pleasure of God. Yun ang great fortune niya, to have a son who is a devotee of God. Okay? Who has been given the opportunity to listen to his Gurudev, to listen to the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, and he made it his life. Okay? The glorification of the holy name. Okay. So, his father left this world in complete meditation with his heart connected with the pleasure of God. Okay. He left the body. Okay. Sometimes, people, yung mga tao ba, mayroon silang idea na akala nila, pag nagpunta ka sa Madana, nag-chant ka, okay? And they begin to feel insecure. Okay? Kasi they have their world eh. Para bang ang idea nila, bakit mo ini-influence yung anak ko? Para bang kukunin mo yung anak ko? Magjo-join sila sa grupo nyo? Okay? They're not appreciating that you, lahat kayo nandito, mas kayo mga nandyan, kung ano may position nyo, that it will be a great blessing if you understand, you take this science, because if you live that life that Lord Brahma lived in austerity and penance to please God, and you follow the teachings of Parampara based upon the absoluteness of the truth, based upon the teachings of God Himself and the spiritual master, the saintly person, then the person whom you call your son, your father, your mother, can be your salvation. Okay? In my case, I was brought up by a loving mother by a loving father. They took care of me, my body. Everything I want is there, is been taken care of, okay? But my mom, she simply focused upon, taking care of me. So at that time, dumating sa point na yung body niya, he has this, yung rayuma niya, ibang klase eh. Kasi sa bones, yung body niya tumitigas, namamaga lahat, hindi na siya makalakad. Nakabaston na siya, pagtagal naka-wheelchair na. But ang focus niya is simply caring for me. Yung mga apo niya, ni Chalila. And Srila Prabhupada gave us instruction. Sabi ni Srila Prabhupada, because you're fortunate na your parents are giving you, taking care of you. So whatever excess that is given to you, whatever resources, it must be offered to God, to Krishna. Okay? So your parents will benefit. So kung titignan nyo, kayo, may katawan man kayo, okay? Kaya kayo may katawan dahil sa papa mama nyo, okay? So the greatest gift you can give to your parents is you become a devotee of Krishna. Tingnan nyo. Because it's a world free from lust, anger, and greed. It's a transcendental world. Yung ginagalawan nyo ngayon, it's based upon the dictates of your mind. Okay? And your mind is not eternal. You're not the mind. You're not the desire. Okay? So what Lord Brahma did was he sat in meditation that purified him. Although in a truest sense, he is transcendental, a purified person. Okay? He's our spiritual master. Okay? He showed an example of what we should be doing. So our spiritual master, coming from that line, in this age of quarrel and confusion, he gives us the holy names of God. And what we're doing is based upon the tenets or the teaching of scriptures. Even the Christian teaching, okay? Sa Christian teaching, nakalagay doon eh. Alam mo? Oh Lord, I will sing and praise your name, okay? Save me by your name, okay? By your names. Pero, tatanong ba nyo, pag sinabi mong pangalan, ibig sabihin, it refers to a person. Okay? It refers to a person. So because we are limited, and we're relating to someone who is beyond our senses, the cause of all causes, the Lord of love, Krishna, the Supreme Person. So what Lord Brahma did was, he sat in meditation and followed that instruction given to him through the heart. Okay? And Krishna revealed himself. Ganyan. So ganun din sa situation nyo, tayo lahat dito. Through the holy names of God, the sound vibration will purify us. Because God is a person, and He can reveal Himself to you. He can reveal Himself through your heart. Okay? He can purify your mind, your whole being, from all these sinful activities and from this false ego. He is the protector to protect us when we offer our life and our love, that it is connected with His pleasure. Yun yung process na pinapalo nyo. And it's an eternal process. Kaya you must be patient, may pasensya ka dapat, and stop from the point narinig nyo yung process, you must make a decision in your life, okay? If you continue living a life centered around this materialistic consciousness, it's already a dead end. Okay? Alam mo dead end? It's already concluded. You will suffer. You will not be happy because you're not matter. Di ba ganun? Kasimple lang ba? You are living life, awareness, and you're trying to find security in inanimate, walang life. So, tapos na yan, okay? So you understand that you're living life, the person. You have this desire to serve and love. So with the wisdom of our understanding our true transcendental nature, then we can now make a decision, magkakaroon tayo ng decision, paano natin o ibibigay, iaalay yung pag-ibig at puso natin. Hindi na natin susundin yung isipan. At yun yung process na pinapalo natin. Mantra meditation, to draw the mind away from matter. Because Krsna reveals himself to us through these holy names which will purify our heart, our mind, our whole being. He embraces us. He cares for us. He loves us. So to enter that world of devotion, we must be relating to God in loving devotion. Kaya nga ang science na pinag-aaralan nyo is devotional service. It begins with practice. Okay? Practice. Because from practice, devotional practice, after a while, it becomes spontaneous. Para bang sa una hindi ka marunong lumangoy. Okay? Hindi ka marunong lumangoy. Magbigay ako ng analogy. Hindi analogy, yung halimbawa. Okay? Hindi ka marunong lumangoy, nababasa mo lang, then you follow someone who is an expert in swimming. Teaches you how to swim. He is really a bona fide teacher. After a while, after practicing the different, yung skill ng swimming, paano lumangoy, what happens is that it becomes natural for you to swim. Kaya mo na mag-breaststroke, backstroke, butterfly, kaya mo na mag-float. It becomes natural. But it came with endeavor, sacrifice, nag-practice ka. Okay? Takot ka baka talon ako dyan, malunod ako. Pero dahil tinuruan ka, paano lumutang, tinuruan ka, paano lumangoy, paano ka makakatawid sa ilog, okay, makabalik, okay? Then after a while, it becomes natural for you to swim through practice. So ganun din sa spiritual life. Sa buhay natin lahat, ang sinusunod natin, yung isipan natin. Yung alay natin, ang deity natin ay ang senses natin. Ang wino-worship natin, yung senses natin. Kasi yun yung identification natin, false ego at sensual enjoyment. Kaya lahat ng ginagawa natin, endeavor natin, security natin, ay para ma-fulfill yung material desires. Naintindihan nyo yan? Naintindihan mo? Naintindihan mo? Kaya ang mangyayari nun, iba yung wino-worship mo. So ngayon, pag na-come in contact ka with this process, you're given a different path, which is God's will, God's love, and He Himself will protect you. Provided you follow the process. Okay? You follow the process. Then it becomes spontaneous. Kagaya, you come down, here you go down. In the morning, you wake up, you do japa, and then you attend worship. After a while, when you wake up, automatic, you'll be thinking how you can be very close to Krsna. You chant. You engage in taking care of the deity. And then you chant congregationally. So ang kaibahan lang talaga ng, kung titignan nyo, yung nangyari kay Lord Brahma, ganun din yung benefit na binibigay sa atin lahat. Through his life's example. Kasi siya, sumurrender siya, finalo niya yung instruction ni Lord Krsna, ni Lord Vishnu. Engage in austerity and sacrifice, and God revealed himself to him and showed him the spiritual world. So, anong nangyari? Naririnig natin, pag sinabi niyong, "Oh my Lord, I will sing and praise your name." Pero hindi natin naisip, pag sinabi mong names, yung qualities, ibig sabihin nun, ano yung quality ng Supreme Person? Sino siya? Diba? He's all-powerful, but it's not all about power. It is about His love, His care for us, how He loves us. Yun ang hindi nila natutumbok. Hindi nila dahil wala silang kaalaman. Kaya hindi nga nila masabi pangalan pag sinabi mong, ano yan, Krsna? Hindi man nila alam ng meaning ng Krsna is all attractive. Pag sinabi mong Allah, Akbar, God is great. Why is He great? Because He loves us. Yun yung mga pangalan ng may kapal. Puong may kapal. Okay? Kaya lang, ang kaibahan lang, ang pangalan ng Diyos, saka siya walang kaibahan. Okay? Pag sinabi ko, halimbawa, nauuhaw ako, sabihin ko, tubig, 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 tubig. Yung uhaw ko, hindi mawawala. Okay? Pag gusto kong kumain ng mangga, kita ko mangga, sabihin ko, mango, mango, mango. Iba yung word, saka yung object. Okay? May duality ba? May duality ba? Dual. Okay? Iba yung word, iba rin yung object ng mango. But when Krishna, the Supreme Person, is transcendental to all the dualities. Yun yung absoluteness, God's inconceivable potency. He's outside of everything, He's inside of everything. He's very near, He's very far. He's in His kingdom, He's with us. That is God. Okay? Kaya lang, dahil wala tayong kaalaman, we are not able to appreciate what His love is. Because we've been so much engrossed ba? With following our mind. And our mind is where lust is. Matinding pagnanasa at mga desire. Kaya ang buhay natin ay puno ng takot, puno ng inggit, kasinungalingan. Dahil ang pinoprotektahan natin ay ang mundo natin. Okay? So, when you approach the spiritual master, ang sabi ni Lord Krishna, surrender unto Him. Okay? Surrender. Listen to Him and render service submissively. Okay? Submissively, you listen. At makikita nyo yun, how Sukadev Goswami, who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, and how Maharaj Pariksit listened. Okay? At makikita rin nyo sa life ng great personality like grandson ni Prahlad Maharaj, si Bali Maharaj. Binigyan siya ng instruction, humingi si Lord Krishna sa kanya ng 3-step ng lanya. Yung promise niya, hindi niya binig. He followed. Okay? At the expense, mawala lahat. Kasi yun yung, doon nakatuon yung buhay niya, yung puso niya. So yun yung dapat natin ma-achieve na natabunan. Kasi yun yung mundo na yung walang duality. Walang duality. Transcendental. Para makapasok ka doon, ibig sabihin nun, kailangan pleasing yung buhay natin sa Diyos. Alam niyo yung pleasing? Kaaya-aya ba? Para maging kaibigan mo isang person, kailangan maging kaibigan mo siya. Alam niya na mahal, alam mo kung ano yung pagmamahal. Alam yung pagsisilbi. Hindi mo? Kaya lang, ang nangyari kasi rito, dahil sa mundo natin na makasarili, ang gusto lang natin i-please, yung sarili natin. So ngayon, balik ako doon sa pinag-usapan natin. Si Japadas, yung buhay niya is simply focus upon following spiritual master instruction. Yung buhay niya ay completely dependent upon his Gurudev. Okay? And Lord Krishna protects him and all those he loves. Kaya, yung person na to, yung father niya, playing the role of his father, is given this care and love and opportunity because he has a son who is a devotee of Krishna. Yeah. Yun yung dapat natin maintindihan. Dapat natin makamtan at maging buhay natin. Completely dependent upon God's plan and will. And it's all about His love for us. Yung mind nyo, it's all about yung kinakatakot nyo na hindi nyo makuha. Okay. Intindihan nyo? Lahat ng plano nyo, definitely, natuldukan na. If you're ignorant of your true identity, you try hard to manipulate matter, to play Lord, then you're in for a ride. You will experience all the pain and suffering. And at this association, you will be disconnected from that world that is not touched by dualities. Because you'll be in bodily identification. You'll be identifying with the source, with the world of matter and the source of pain. Nakita niyo? So it's not a game we play here, okay? Hindi yun yung lagi na namin kayo pinagsasabihan because time moves so fast. You have this opportunity, nandito kayo ngayon. And there's no disqualification. Walang disqualification because you are all children of Krishna, spirit soul. Walang disqualification. But it is you who will disqualify yourself if you don't follow the process. You don't follow what is descending God's mercy upon you and how you relate to God. Okay? So Lord Chaitanya gives us this teaching, how we can be always connected with God. Okay? Yung third prayer niya. So, the devotee is always remembering he does not forget Krishna. And when you say Krishna, Govinda, God has so many names, innumerable. And all the names of God is invested with transcendental potencies. And so much example that when a person completely surrendered to the holy names, he's protected by Krishna. So there's this person, I'll tell you, the father of Japadas has been cared and protected by God. So he left this world as a saintly person. Okay? As a saintly person. Okay? From the outside, from the material point of view, he's a demon. Okay? But he left this world as a saintly person because his heart is touched by the sweet names of Krishna. Okay? And he asked his son, Joey, teach me the song you're singing. And that's what my God brother passed on to him. The eternal song of glorification of God. His qualities, His holy names. Okay? So, he left his body as a saintly person. Hindi niya? That's why this study program is based upon wisdom. So you can make the right decision with your life. So definitely, if you're hearing yung wisdom, alam mo, dead end na eh. You're gonna leave the body, okay? Kaya sinasabi parati sa atin ni Saint Prabhupada, don't ever think that this place is a world of enjoyment. This is a world of suffering. Because you'll experience here, you'll be born, you struggle so hard to get things, and it will be taken away from you. And while you're struggling hard, your body's getting old. And then your body gets disease. Magkasakit ba? Hindi lang sakit na kung ano yung sakit na na-experience yung nalagnat. You may have cancer, tuberculosis, okay? Maraming sakit, innumerable. Hindi, naka-experience na ba kayo magkaroon kayo ng smallpox, chickenpox, na yung buong katawan nyo halos puro na lang tubig na lumolobo? Okay? Naka-experience kayo ng karamihan sa inyo dito, bago kayo dumating dito, ang dami yung bulok ng ngipin. Araw-araw, lagi kayong gumagano, no? Okay? Di ba? So pagdating nyo rito, binunot yung ngipin nyo. Okay? So yung cause ng suffering, dahil hindi nyo inalagaan yung ngipin nyo, kumakain kayo parati ng mga junk food, saka Coca-Cola na yan, na acid, at hindi kayo nagbabrush, siyempre natural yung bibig nyo, puro acid. Kaya yung pinakamatigas na buto, yung ngipin, natunaw yung enamel, nawala dahil sa acid. At yung bakterya pumasok. Kaya yung buto, infected. Yung loob na. Yung bone at yung flesh doon. Okay? Kaya binunot. So naka-experience kayo ng pain. Ha? Pero nakalimutan na nyo na before coming here, taon, wala kayong ginawa kundi, okay? Habang mine-maintain nyo yung ngipin yung bulok na laging nagbibigay ng pain sa inyo. Okay? Pero ngayon nakalimutan na nyo eh. Kasi yung mind, si Maya, very strong. Maya is very powerful. Okay? Because we try to beat God. We want to play God. Pero hindi man pwede. Nandiyan man yung nagbabantay. Sipahin ka sa muka. Okay? You want to be Lord? Okay. Serve me. You become enslaved. You become enslaved by the modes of material nature. You become enslaved by your senses. And then you suffer karma. There's 8,400,000 species of life. Beginning from the demigods to the worm, to the small whatsoever. And then, according to your karma, or as you sow, you shall reap. Ano yung consciousness mo? Ano yung reaction na ginawa mo? Tatamaan ka. Kaya, stop. Yun ang ano. So, the spiritual master is very merciful. Okay? And the spiritual master, like Lord Brahma, it is explained in Shastra or in Scripture that they are the Lord from the outside. So in the beginning, nandito kayo ngayon, you cannot hear the Lord within the heart. Okay? And Lord Krishna tells us, from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. So if we come in contact with this transcendental science and we follow the purification, that the purificatory process that is given to us, para pag madumi yung kamay mo, magugas ka ng tubig, sabon. Okay? Given to us. You apply it. Because by nature, the holy names is very attractive. Because it is about a connection with your love, with your heart, with the source of happiness. Kaya habang nagtatravel yung libre, lahat kayo nagtatravel eh. Hindi naman kayo, nandito sa mundo tayo, nagtatravel kayo eh. Okay? Habang nagtatravel kayo, in false bodily identification, para kang, ang description ng spiritual master ko is like, pag tumira ka sa hotel, alam mo tumira ka sa hotel? Minsan, nagtatravel kasi kami. Pag tumira ako sa hotel, dahil yung budget ko hindi naman ganun kalaki, titira lang ako sa moderate na hotel. Pero yung iba, titira sila sa magagandang hotel. Pero pag nasa hotel ka, alam mo, 3 araw ka lang ron. Isip mo, ay, 3 araw. Pangit ng hotel na to ah. I-renovate natin to. Okay? Hindi mo gagawin yun, di ba? Kasi sandali ka lang eh. 3 araw. Ngayon, anong ginagawa natin? Temporary lang tayo sa body na to. Pero gusto natin i-protect yung mundo na yun na magbabago rin. Okay? Maski yung hawak, halimbawa ito. For example, hawak ko to. Nung bata ako. Okay? Ngayon, halimbawa, ilagay mo, ito, binigay ng tatay ko sa akin. Hawak ko, yung kamay ko. Okay? Dahil yung body natin nag-undergo ng changes, ibig sabihin, lahat ng molecules, lahat ng cells dyan, nagbabago after 7 years. So ngayon, through metabolism, yung kinain mo, yun ang mga molecules or atoms ang may make up ng body mo ngayon. So yung kamay na hawak mo to, halimbawa, hawak ko to 50 years ago, ngayon hawak ko pa rin. Hindi na yun yung kamay na hawak ko, na kamay ko dati, iba na ngayon yung kamay na to. Pero hindi mo na pakikita yon kasi bigla eh. Hindi mo, hawak ko to, okay? Ako yung kamay. Pero ang totoo, kung titignan mo, masi sa vocabulary, hindi nyo sinasabing me hand. Ano sinasabi nyo? My hand. Your hand is your possession. Hindi nyo sinasabing me body. My body. Okay? Intindihan nyo? So, how do we get this wisdom? How do we retain this wisdom? Okay? When we are connected with a process that is transcendental and purifying, and that is God Himself. Okay? Kaya a person who makes progress, who's making progress, when he comes in contact with the Holy Name, dumaan lang siya, Krsna. Kasi 4 na tao, yung living entities, who comes in contact with God, with the Holy Names. 4. Number 1, yung sa sobrang hirap ng buhay. Okay? Krsna arranges it. Ang hirap ng buhay. Ultimo na ako, wala akong mapuntahan. Okay? Wala kaming bahay. Struggle talaga. Mahirap na mahirap na mahirap na mahirap. Okay? You go to God. Diyos ko po, tulungan mo ko. Okay? May intent ka to ask something from God. Okay? Pero kung titignan mo, yung mundo mo, it's all about your world of trying to control. Pero dahil hindi ka controller, nalagay ka sa sitwasyon na talagang ang hirap, natural sa'yo to ask God. Okay? Tulungan mo po ako. Okay? So it shows you are not all powerful. You're dependent upon someone who can give you what you want. You're not the source. Kaya yun yung first. Yung second naman ay someone who is curious. Okay? Unsa ba na? Okay? Pirmi ko makita ang mama na ako maminaw sa lecture ng 106.9. Okay? Unsa ba na? Okay? Ikaw, naglalaro ka ng takyaw doon, basketball. Then somewhere along the line, napunta ka rito. Okay? So, na-attract ka. Curious ka eh. Usawa na, kada adlaw tukar sige, tukar na, dagan mang gitara diha. Okay? Ngapaw sama na. Okay? Then you take that path. Okay? So you experience, wow, okay man pala. Okay? Yung distress naman isa, problemado lahat. Pag uwi niya, yung nanay niya, ready na i-deliver ng St. Peter. Alam niyo? Pag uwi niya, pag tingin niya, asa among balay? Wala na daw, nasunog. Ang mama ni mo apil, imong papa na diya. Tapos nandun na lahat. Tungod sa dayong, okay? Sa dayong, sa tulong ng mga samahan ng mga hirap na tayo, may dayong. Okay? Member man ako ng dayong. Dahil senior citizen. Okay? So, i-deliver na yung mga akala mo, mahal mo sa buhay. Okay? Distress ka. Tapos, unsa man kinsay maghatag sa ako pagkaon karon. Okay? Kasi buong buhay mo, wala kang ginawa kundi mag-basketball. Okay? Sa mind mo, maging kagaya ka ni Kobe Bryant. Okay? Na namatay na rin. Okay? Wala kang alam. Kaya, unsa ni? Distress ka ba? Kasi akong kinabuhi karon. Okay? Naman di ang mga sundang pangtapas. Okay? Magtapas ka. Okay? O kaya, naapi ko pala diya, nabilin sa imong amahan. Okay? Naatrabaho, kung dawatong ka sa public highway. Okay? Pero pwede ka magtrabaho sa sementeryo. Okay? Taga-butas doon ng ano. Okay? Pero dahil mahirap na rin kasi may mga backhoe na ngayon hindi ka natuto. Wala kang ginawa kundi maglaro. Manood ng cartoons. Wala kang kaalaman. Kaya distress ka. Krsna, tabang, okay? Pero yung isa, very intelligent. Nakita ba niya? Uy, dumating ako rito. Ano ba, saan ako papunta? Okay? Ano ba ang kamatayan? Sino ako? Yung person na intelligent. At nakinig siya sa turo. Okay? Tinuro yung transcendental logic. Okay? You're not the body. You're not the mind. You're the person who is the witness, the driver of all the things happening. Kita niyo, nga no? Ba't ako nandito? Yun ang tanong niya. Ba't ako nandito? Okay? Pero sabi na Maya, di maminaw. Okay? Diha ka lang. Okay? Kasi nga, hindi tayo nasanay ng sacrifice austerities. Okay? So, nagbigay ka ng panahon, nakinig ka. So, ngayon, mahirap. So, ipalo mo yung process, yung sacrifice, austerity. Then, you make progress towards that process. God's love, God's revealing Himself to you. Okay? Tindihan nyo? So, a certain activity leads to a certain consciousness. Kung yung activity mo, transcendental, meaning to do the will of God, the pleasure of God, then yung consciousness mo iba. You'll experience tolerance, kindness, compassion, security. Wala kang takot. You can make a stand. Why? Because it is your life. Okay? Your love with someone who loves you. The Supreme Person, Govinda. Yun yung process. And He reveals Himself to you. So, ang gagawin mo lang, dapat may pasensya ka. Okay? Nagme-make na nga ng effort si Krsna. Pero dahil, paano yung paraan? So, tinuruan tayo ni Lord Chaitanya. Ano yung devotee? Ano yung nagmamahal sa Diyos? Ano yung devotee? Someone who's completely surrendered. Paano natin makamtan yun? Okay? How can we achieve that? We must always be chanting the holy names and with the consciousness of the prayer of Lord Chaitanya. One can chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige. That is your sacrifice, that is your austerity, because you will be in a situation with the wisdom that is given to you. Yes, I can take shelter of the person who loves me eternally, Krsna. Okay? Sin, who gives you everything here? Lord Brahma, the creator, He created everything. Okay? And Lord Brahma is the beloved son of Lord Krsna. And He loves us. Kaya He passed on this wisdom coming from Lord Brahma to Narada Muni, to Bhibhasvan, to the Sun God, to all the living personalities or authorities, and the saintly person up to our Gurudev. The same message that Lord Brahma received. Okay? It is God's love, a connection with your life, with your heart. And that is inseparable from loving everybody, because it's like watering the root of the tree. Just like my God brother, okay? Because he received the holy names. God's love, Krsna, and his father is hearing that every day. And when his father asked him, can you sing, help me, teach me that song, he passed on that wisdom, this transcendental sound, okay? So, before I stop speaking, I'll tell you one story in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is this Brahmana ba, a priest. While walking, his mind was polluted because he saw somebody, low-life people, engaging in coupling, engaging in sexual contact while he's walking. And when he saw it through sense perception, it polluted his mind. Okay? It polluted his mind. Hindi niya maalis. And then he fell down from his practice. From being a priest, someone who practiced religious principles, now he doesn't follow it anymore. He became a hedonist. But fortunately, he has a son, Narayan, Krsna. He loves his son so much. So at the time he's leaving his body, because there are those who are controlling everything in this universe. So at the time you're leaving the body, somebody will pet you, not Saint Peter, okay? Naintindihan nyo? Not Saint Peter. In his case, it is the Yamaduts, the constable of, And then, when that happened, the Yamaduts are there, okay? I'll tell you a story. Babasahin natin after how the Yamaduts will pet you when you leave this world, okay? It's not very pleasing. Kasi they're there to pet yung person who is sinful. Okay? Kaya si Ajamila, ginawa niya, aalis na siya, na-remember niya yung pinakamahal niyang anak, Narayan. And he's thinking of Narayan. He uttered the holy names of God purely. Okay? And then, Vishnuduts came, the constable of Lord Krsna, and stopped the Yamaduts. You cannot take him. And he was fetched to go to Krsna. And they asked, paano nangyari yan? Okay? Because Yamaraj is the servant of Krsna. Okay? Krsna, the holy names, is not different from him. He's the supreme purifier. Kaya mapapansin nyo, if you make effort to follow this path, gagawin nyo, you chant without offense. Sa beginning, puro offensive yung ginagawa natin eh. Wala, offensive tayo. But the more you chant, and that offense, after a while, wala ka na sa offensive stage. Okay? Because your life now, you're chanting, you're free from material desires. Your desire now is simply to please God. It's between you, your love, your life with Him. And you continue on chanting. And the revelation of that relationship, you will experience the revelation of Lord Krsna revealing Himself to Lord Brahma through the heart. Because Krishna's promise, if you surrender to Him, He will protect you. From Him comes remembrance and forgetfulness. He will protect you from all your fears. Because you are now focused upon the pleasure of God. Your life, your heart, your happiness in pleasing God. Yun yung devotee. So our spiritual master wants us to become pure devotees of Krishna. Okay. So where the chanting of the holy names is ongoing, the spiritual master is there. So the more you sing congregationally, Lord Krsna, Lord Chaitanya is there, chanting and dancing with us. And all the saintly person chanting and dancing with us. Kaya nga, at the end of the Sankirtan, sinasabi nyo, All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Who are the assembled devotees? The devotees of Lord Krishna. The parampara. You. Okay? Glories. Eternal glory. Because it's the glorification of the holy names of God. It's about pleasing God. Is it clear? So you have been given this process. Now you should be very focused and make effort. Kasi it's natural for a child to walk. Alam ba nyo yun? Pag pinanganak kayo, sa una hindi kayo makalakad. But it's inherent na after a while, sa kakaikot-ikot nyo, tumbling-tumbling, ma-develop nyo yung muscles nyo. Innate ba? Na you can walk. Okay? If you don't have disease. Okay? You can walk. Pwede pala ako maglakad. Okay? So, serving and loving God, if it is guided by God Himself, it will be a transcendental, non-dual, not touched by this material world, because it is the world that is transcendental, the spiritual world. So when you chant the holy names of God, Krishna descends. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda is dancing with us. So ngayon, ang gusto kong sabihin, spiritual life is not a geographical location. Hindi ibig sabihin nun para mapalapit tayo sa Diyos, pupunta tayo kung saan ang spiritual master natin. It is the instruction. The instruction of God is not different from His love for us. Just like Lord Brahma was instructed by Lord Krishna through the heart. And now, our Gurudev, who is coming from Lord Brahma, is asking us, Harinama, Harinama, Eva Kevalam, chant the holy names, chant the holy name. Is it clear? So don't waste your time. Kasi you must see and appreciate that you have been loved so much, you don't just throw it away. Kasi it will be your success if you hold on to it, the holy names. Okay? Is it clear? Because Krishna becomes the driver of your life, our lives. He will protect us. And by nature, we are always dependent. And the dependency that we're longing for is this loving reciprocation with God. When you're able to fall down and beg and ask, please let me serve you. Please give me the desire, to surrender, to love you. Kasi alam ko, wala ako nun. Okay? The devotee is someone who continues on engaging in sacrifice and austerities and never, he does not waver. He applies the process every day. He makes a stand. Hindi yung, ay hirap, uli na ko, surrender. Okay? Bakwait. Intindihan nyo? So it shows your commitment. Doon mo makikita, are you willing to sacrifice everything for the person you love? That is a devotee. Okay? But when you say sacrifice, it doesn't mean you die. You live. Because you're connected with the source of life. Happiness. Krishna.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya. Jai Gurudev.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda.
Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Sate Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Bol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol.
Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Sate Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna.
Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol.